Teresa Jackson, Master in the Arcanum. I have an apprentice who shared this image in our cohort, and he asked about how to take the table out in this image, the one in the lower right hand corner. I'm going to show you how easy it is to remove something like this in a photo using the Patch tool in Photoshop. Alright, let's get started. You'll see how easy this really is. First off, anytime you do any cloning or retouching in Photoshop, that's what we call destructive editing. So you'll want to make a copy of your layer so that you always have something to go back to if something goes wrong. So I'm going to take the background layer and I'm going to drag it down to this page icon at the bottom of the layers panel and let go. And that just made a duplicate. This is background copy. So we'll be doing the work on that layer. We need to find the patch tool to do this, and the patch tool is located under the spot healing brush here in the toolbar. So click on this and go halfway down, you find the patch tool. And then I want to zoom in on this area down here so that I can see what it is that I want to remove. The patch tool starts by just creating a lasso selection. So while you're in the patch tool, you just draw a selection around the object that you want to remove. Make it a little bit loose so you include a few extra pixels all the way around. And then it's really it's simple. You just click in the middle of the selection and drag the selection to an area in the image that you can use to patch what's coming out. So I want to make sure that that molding's lined up perfectly, and then when I let go, voila, it's like magic. It did miss a little bit of piece here in the corner. I'll just make another selection around that, or maybe this whole area down here, and drag this over, maybe drag it up because those values are similar, and let go. And I'm going to do a Command D or Control D to deselect, and it looks perfect, like magic. It's gone, and it only took a couple seconds to do it. Anytime I do any retouching on an image, I always save that file as a Photoshop file and retain the layers. If you resave this as a JPEG, it would flatten that. So I always like to be able to come back to my work. So just do a file, save as, and make sure that it's a Photoshop document and that layers are on, and then you'll be able to come back to this and have all the working layers if you need to. So I've already done that, so I'm going to cancel out of that. This image was really easy to fix with the default settings of the patch tool. But while we're here, let's take a deeper dive into the patch tool and see what other options are there. I'm going to go ahead and hide this one, make another duplicate of the background layer. And another way that you can do that is a control or right click right on the layer, right on the layer name, and say duplicate layer. So now we have another copy of this. And I'm still in the patch tool. I'm going to make my selection. And then before I do anything here, we're going to go up to the top of the screen here and see what these options are. So first of all, notice that it's on source, and that's the default setting, and that's what you're going to want if you're going to remove something. If you change this to destination, let's see what happens when we do that. Then we get a duplicate of the object. So you can use the patch tool to duplicate things, although I would say probably 99% of the time I use the patch tool, I'm not using it to duplicate things, I'm using it to remove things. So leave that on source. And the next option is up here under patch where it says normal. Most of the time normal works really well, but there's an option under here for content aware. And let's see what happens when we use content aware for this and drag it over and let go. And it accomplished the same exact thing, pretty close. We're still missing this little corner down here. But notice when you're on content aware, you have more options. You have structure options and color options. And I'll tell you that changing these numbers, I'll just change it down to 1, can drastically change the results that you get. And I can't tell you what the recipe is for the good results. That just completely kind of messed up this molding here by just changing it from 10 up to 10. Now I took it down to 4. Now it's straightening out more. If I take the structure maybe someplace in the middle, let's see what 6 does. That moved it a little bit. So if you're not getting the results that you like on the normal setting, change it to content aware, and then before you release it, you have to move around these numbers and see what you get, and it will change, and sometimes you end up with something that's perfect where you couldn't get that on the normal setting. I hope you found this PatchTool tutorial helpful. Next time you have an object in your image that you need to remove, start with a PatchTool. I bet it'll get you at least 90% of where you want to be, if not 100% like this image. And if it only gets you 90% of the way there, then you can finish it up with the clone stamp tool. But overall, it still should save you a lot of time.